Veronica, we're going to give you that same question. We know you are a franchise. Why did you open up your own company?
Prior to opening up a RE/MAX franchise, I was a boutique, independent broker. I never really wanted to be a broker. I just wanted to be a team. But every broker I hung my license with was an evil broker. So I had to open my own brokerage at the time when I was independent. But then I ran into a lack of value proposition. I had no systems, I had no technology at the time. You know, we're talking about 2010. Technology wasn't as accessible or affordable as it is today. So I remember sitting in my office and I was in between KW and RE/MAX. I was KW before I went independent, and I didn't have a great experience with the regional. I just couldn't see myself going back. And I said, what's the next best thing? And at the time, RE/MAX in our market was respected, and there was a small gap in the area that I was at, that they didn't have anyone running it. And I looked at their systems and tools, and I was like, this might be the next best thing for me. I had a lot of respect for it. They flew me out, and I looked at their systems, their processes, their training, and I said, well, maybe they'll sell me a franchise. And I didn't realize they'll sell anybody a franchise, but somehow I thought I was special. So guess what? I bought a franchise. And I bought a very glorified logo and systems, and yes, some on-demand stuff, but it was great for me at the time. And it solved the problem that I needed, which was systems and some technology at the time, and a brand that I thought agents would respect, that I no longer had to be that broker that would say, I'll take anyone that with blood running through their veins and give them 100% commission and fight about a $300 transaction fee. And I said, now I can recruit better talent. That was my mindset around buying a franchise.
Yeah, guys, pick up on this. So what broker owners look for is they want an easier way to run their brokerage. They are looking for tools and systems. So remember all these things that we're saying. It'll help you get in front of these brokers. We're going to go next question. Frank, this one's going to be for you. Why did you eventually listen to the person who got you to come over, and how did they approach you?
So it was Jimmy and Andrew Franklin, also from Katy, Texas, who were recruiting me for several years because I had my feet dug in pretty hard. But they approached me. I started my independent brokerage about the same time they joined EXP. And I was celebrating my success on Facebook as they celebrated their success and growth on Facebook. And our numbers mirrored each other. We got to 100 agents about the same time, 200, 300. 400, but as I was approaching 500, they started pulling away from me. That got my attention. And of course, that was because it's exponential. I mean, they were cheating. They had all those agents recruiting for them.
Yeah, we're a bunch of cheaters here.
Yes. So they just hung in there. Jimmy had approached me directly. Did I want to hear about EXP? And I said, absolutely not. I said, I love what you're doing. Jimmy and I had been friends for 30 years. And I said, I want to celebrate you and your success. And he celebrated me and my success. We became a mutual, cheering squad for each other. And he didn't ask me directly after that. It was just a few years. We stayed in touch. We celebrated. But it wasn't until I had some other issues that I actually initiated the conversation.
Yeah, so see that, guys? Love on them. Broker owners do take a little bit of a time. Show them that you actually care, and you ain't just looking to steal their brokerage. That's how they look at it. Brian, we're going to ask you that same question. Why did you eventually listen to the person who got you to come, and how were you approached?
Well, it didn't take long. It only took me 3 days. So I'm in the middle
Never
of
mind my first thing. You don't have to love on him too long.
The deal was I had already lost 2 agents to EXP, top producers, and I was standing in Hobby Lobby, and I got a text message that said that a third was going to be recruited. Now, to an independent broker, $96 million, that's a huge chunk of my revenue. And so these are people that I loved on for years. And so I was angry, very angry at you guys. My wife knew about it. And I went home and I learned everything I could about EXP. I read the website, I watched every video, and I stumbled upon this guy named Nolly. Right? And I watched every YouTube video. I can't say every YouTube video, but I watched every YouTube video I could, and I learned about teams moving over, learned about RevShare. I made spreadsheets, and Monday morning I called Nolly's organization. Tuesday at 5 o'clock, I don't remember what day it was right before Thanksgiving. I talked to Nolly for 2 days. I still owe him a meal. He says I saved him from the dinner, but you know, Josie was inside eating. He was not. He was talking to me. And I worked with car dealers for a long time in past life, and I was waiting for the other foot to drop. And he didn't ever try to sell me. He listened to every problem that I had, and I was borderline fixing to quit real estate because I couldn't compete. I was street fighting every day, fighting over deals, fighting over agents, fighting over rent money. And you know what he did? It's the one thing. Pray with me. He prayed with me. And I'm sorry I'm getting a little choked up. But he said that it changes the gate and it opens from the inside. And I knew on that phone call, I didn't tell him, but I knew on that phone call I was going to be EXP soon. It took me about 45 days. I lost half my brokerage. But I'm telling you guys right now, there's brokers out there hurting. They're hurting, guys. And it's almost your duty to go out there and teach them that this model can save their brokerage, especially in the upcoming market.
Amen. Guys,
you lay it out.
Awesome. Guys, remember that. You know, we always think of the bigger brokerages when we think of brokerages. There's thousands of brokerages out there, thousands. And I'm going to tell you right now, I watch the industry really well. The big brokerages are going to be eating up the little brokerages. It's like everything else we see going on in this world with the Amazon and everything else. Technology is making the bigger ones get bigger and it's swallowing up the little. Well, we're going to swallow them up, but we're going to help them build their business. Next question we're going to have is for Trish. Trish, what was the toughest hurdle or mindset you had to overcome in order to make that decision to move?
So I was in real estate as a solo agent for years, then got my broker's license in 2017, and I did it because I'd been at every big box company out there, Keller Williams, Remax, all of them, and I didn't like any of them. I didn't like the models because I believed, because I was a single mom and I was struggling and I was a top producer, and nobody ever offered help. Nobody ever was like, hey, try this. I just had to make it work and figure it out on my own. So I was always going to open my own office because I didn't want to ever have that kind of environment for agents. And so the focus was for me to open my own office, and I wanted it to just be small, like 10 of my friends. We're going to do our own thing, and nobody's going to tell us what to do, and we're going to help each other. But we grew really fast, and we grew to 50 agents in 6 months, and most of them were KW agents, and so that was a huge problem. I had to hire all this staff, and when I had brought on all these people, like 50 of them came on quickly because they hated the KW model, and I was with Jay Kinder and Michael Reese, and I was in their coaching program. And Michael Reese calls me up one day, and I'd been with my company for about 2 years, and I already saw it was a problem. I was like, holy crap, I had no idea what I was getting into with this independent brokerage. Basically, I'm still the top producer, and I'm funding this, and this is not what the life I want. And so Michael calls me one day, and he's like, look, we need you to come to Frisco. You need to have a conversation with us because what you got going on over there is not working. I'm thinking you're stressed out. And I was like, I'm so stressed out. I hate this life. Like, I was miserable. So I went to them, and I had been in their coaching program for like a year and a half. So I go to Frisco. I'm sitting at a table with Jay Kinder. He's across the table from me. Michael Reese is next to me, and Woods is across the table from me. And Jay looks at me, and he goes, Trisha, look. You got a Blockbuster, and EXP is Netflix, and we're going to shut you down. Like, it's either going to be today, 2 years from now, or 5 years from now. You're going to be that lone Blockbuster sitting out there. Is that what you want? Because I'm pretty sure that's not what you want. And I was like, no. And I swear, the conversation went on for like way deeper for hours, but that was one of the most profound things ever said to me. And then Michael walked me to my car, and Michael was like, here's what I'm going to tell you. You got 50 agents in your office when you go back home, and none of my agents knew I was talking to Mike and Jay about switching. Nobody knew. And he was like, they're going to hate you. Most are not going to come with you. They're going to spread rumors about you. They're going to try to destroy your life. But if you'll push through and trust in us, your life will never be the same. And it did. The same thing happened, and it was the hardest thing, but it's never been the same. It's been awesome.
Awesome. You know, sometimes a hard close is really good. You just got to know when to pull it out. Because I never forget, me and Ange sat across from a C21 broker owner, and at the end of the conversation, she's like, "Yeah, I don't think this is for me." And I said, "That's okay, because I'm going to come in here and take all your agents." See how quick her mind changed.